If you've ever wondered what animal gets to eat like a king without doing any of the actual work, congratulations! You've just discovered the vulture. Now, before you start feeling superior about your Postmates addiction, understand that vultures have turned laziness into an evolutionary masterpiece. While lions are out there sweating in the African sun, risking their perfect manes in violent takedowns, vultures are circling overhead, checking their watches, waiting for the dinner bell. And the dinner bell is death. That's right. Vultures don't hunt. They don't stalk. They don't even pretend to look busy. They just wait for something else to do the dying, then swoop in like they own the place. It's the ultimate freeloading strategy, except it's also one of the most important jobs in the entire ecosystem. Nature's janitors. The cleanup crew. The guys who show up after the party's over to deal with the mess nobody else wants to touch. And they love it. Most animals look at a rotting carcass and think, heart pass. Vultures look at the same carcass and think, finally, some good food. They've evolved to eat death itself, which sounds metal as hell, until you realize what that actually means. We're talking about meat that's been baking in the sun for 3 days. Meat that's crawling with bacteria that would hospitalize you faster than gas station sushi. Meat that smells like Satan's gym bag. But vultures? They're fine. Better than fine, actually. They're thriving. Here's the thing about evolution. It doesn't care about your dignity. And vultures traded dignity for survival a long time ago. Take their heads, for instance. Bald. Completely bald. Not because they're going through some midlife crisis, but because they spend half their day shoulder deep in rotting corpses. Feathers would turn into bacterial nightmares. So nature said, you know what? Just lose the feathers up there. Go full naked mole rat on the head situation. And it worked. Their bald heads aren't just functional. They're also easier to clean. After a meal that would make a buzzard puke, wait, they are buzzards. They just bask in the sun, let the UV rays sterilize their skin, and call it a day. It's like nature's version of hand sanitizer, except it's your entire head. But the real magic happens in their stomachs. Vulture stomach acid has a pH level around 1. For context, that's more acidic than battery acid. It's so corrosive, it can dissolve bones. Not chew them up, dissolve them, like you dropped a femur in a vat of industrial cleaner. This is evolution's way of saying, you want to eat rotten antelope? Fine, but you're getting a stomach that could melt a car. This super acid does more than just break down bones, though. It kills everything. Anthrax? Dead. Botulism? Toast. Cholera, rabies, tuberculosis, all neutralized before they even think about causing problems. Vultures are basically flying biohazard suits, except instead of protecting themselves from disease, they're protecting the entire ecosystem by consuming it. Because here's what people don't get. Without vultures, rotting carcasses don't just disappear. They sit there. They fester. They become disease factories. And those diseases spread to water sources, to other animals, to humans. In India, when vulture populations crashed in the 1990s due to a veterinary drug called diclofenac, dead cattle piled up. Feral dog populations exploded because suddenly there was free food everywhere. And with more dogs came more rabies. Tens of thousands of human deaths have been linked to the vulture decline. So, yeah, vultures aren't just gross. They're essential. But let's not pretend they're saints. These birds are opportunistic, ruthless, and occasionally kinda stupid. Different vulture species have different strategies, and some of those strategies are questionable. Take the bearded vulture, also known as the lammergeier. This bird looks like it was designed by a death metal album cover artist. It's got a black beard of feathers, blood red eyes, and a diet that's 70% bones. Not meat, bones. Most vultures wait for the lions and hyenas to finish, then eat the leftovers. The bearded vulture waits for everyone to finish, then picks up the remaining bones and drops them from the sky onto rocks, smashes them into pieces, then eats the marrow. It's like meal prep, except with more gravity.
And just when you think vultures can't get weirder, let me introduce you to urohydrosis. That's the scientific term for peeing on your own legs to cool down. Vultures do this regularly. They'll stand there, defecate down their own legs, and let the evaporation cool them off. It's disgusting. It's also brilliant, because the high ammonia content in their waste also kills bacteria on their feet. Bacteria they picked up from, you guessed it, walking around on rotting corpses all day. Nature doesn't do elegant solutions. Nature does whatever works. Socially, vultures are surprisingly complex. They don't just show up to a carcass and start a free-for-all. There's a hierarchy. In Africa, the lappet-faced vulture is basically the bouncer. Big, aggressive, massive beak. It shows up first, tears open the tough hide that smaller vultures can't penetrate, and eats the choicest bits. Then come the Rupel's vultures, the white-backed vultures, the hooded vultures, each with their role, each with their preferred scraps. It's like a corporate structure, except everyone's covered in blood and nobody's pretending to enjoy team-building exercises. And the communication? Vultures don't have a great sense of smell. That's a myth. Most of them hunt by sight. They watch each other. One vulture spots something dead, starts descending, and suddenly every vulture in a 5-mile radius thinks, "Oh, Bob's going down. Must be lunch." It's a network of aerial surveillance that would make intelligence agencies jealous. But here's where it gets dark. Vultures are in serious trouble. Poisoning, habitat loss, collisions with power lines, and the same veterinary drugs that killed millions in India are still threats worldwide. Some cultures consider them bad omens and kill them. Poachers poison carcasses to kill vultures because the circling birds alert rangers to illegal kills. And in some parts of Africa, vulture parts are used in traditional medicine because apparently the bird that eats death must hold the secret to life. It doesn't. It holds the secret to stomach acid. The decline of vultures isn't just a bird problem. It's an ecosystem problem. When vultures disappear, carcasses rot slower, diseases spread faster, and the delicate balance that's kept nature's cleanup system running for millions of years starts to collapse. We've built a world that produces a lot of death, roadkill, livestock, wildlife, and we need something to deal with it. Vultures have been doing that job for free since before humans even existed, and we're letting them go extinct. There's something poetic about that in a deeply depressing way. The animal that spent eons cleaning up nature's messes can't clean up the mess we made. They can survive anthrax, botulism, and literally eating death, but they can't survive us. Of course, some vulture species are adapting. In some cities, vultures have learned to hang around garbage dumps. It's not ideal, but it's food, and if there's one thing vultures are good at, it's not being picky. They've survived 5 mass extinctions. They've outlasted dinosaurs, ice ages, and countless other species that thought they were too important to fail. They're tougher than they look. Which brings us to the uncomfortable truth. Vultures are a mirror. We look at them and see ugliness, death, scavenging. We see something we don't want to be. But vultures are honest. They don't pretend to be noble predators. They don't hunt for sport or kill for fun. They show up, do their job, and keep the world a little cleaner than they found it. They're not beautiful. They're not majestic. They won't be on motivational posters anytime soon. But they're necessary. And maybe that's the real lesson here. Not everything in nature is designed to inspire you or make you feel good. Some things are just designed to work. Vultures work. They've been working for 20 million years. They have stomachs that can melt bones, heads that look like they lost a fight with a lawnmower, and a feeding strategy that makes competitive eaters look dignified. And they're better at their job than most of us will ever be at ours. So the next time you see a vulture circling overhead, don't think of it as a bad omen. Think of it as a professional, a specialist, the only creature on Earth that looked at death and said, I can work with that. Because at the end of the day, nature doesn't need heroes, it needs janitors. And vultures are the best janitors evolution ever made, even if they do pee on their own legs.